Okay, this is a general install for Whelen's Vortex 360 LED strobe lights. This is a VTX 609. Well, this says C, but when I asked for them, there was a star there instead of a C. But these are replacements for the regular high voltage strobes. We had a strobe box go out, and it is cheaper to replace the LEDs and run them and just add power to them than to replace the strobe box. So right here you can see the high voltage strobe that's in there. I believe you want to mount it horizontally in the center line of the reflector, so you get the correct flash. I'll try to include the instructions from Whelen's site in the description. To remove the headlight, because you have to drill a 1-inch diameter hole to mount these in, because these are already in there. I don't have to drill the hole. But if you were to have to drill the hole, you would have to remove the headlight on this specific vehicle. You have one bolt here, one bolt there, and then you will have another bolt down here, right there, right here. You have another bolt, and then the headlight comes out. But to get it out, you got to take the grill off, obviously, as well. So you have to pull all your pins out. And then once you get the pins out, inside there will be some clips. There's one there. There'll be 4 of them.
You get problems with.
Okay, I can't get at this strobe without removing it because of the bracket that's here. So there was four 10mm head screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down in here we've got 1 tab there, 1 tab there, 1 tab there, right there, and another tab over there. So I reached down with a pair of pliers and I squeezed it with the pliers and then pulled on the bottom to remove it. And then I came in and I loosened the screw that was up under here, and then I got to take out the screw and this screw, and then it should release the headlight. Alright, this vehicle's had a little body modifications to it. So the fender up here is kind of pinching the headlight in a little bit. So rather than rip it out of there, because it's not necessary for me to take it out, I'm just going to kind of leave it where it is and just work around it, and then I don't have to worry about anything getting broken. So it looks like when they installed these initially, they used a grommet, and then they are kind of like a plug, and they just cut a slice in it to kind of seal this. So I'm assuming they drilled a bigger hole here than in the actual reflective bucket. The instructions call for a 1-inch hole to be drilled to install the flasher. So I would imagine that this outside hole is bigger than that, so you can fit the whole housing in. It's probably like 1.5 or 1.25 inches. There's normally 2 screws holding this in, but I'm guessing somebody dropped the other screw because there's only 1 in there. Here's the strobe light. Oh, I got lucky. It's exactly the right size. So these lights can also be mounted, like on the outside. You can buy a bezel for an exterior type of mount instead of mounting it in a headlight. You can just mount it like sticking out of the body or something. And they sell a bezel that you can use to kind of dress it up a little bit. It's just got like a backup ring, so you can tighten it down without breaking the sensor. Not sensor, so I could tighten it down without breaking the light. So it just kind of wraps around there like this. And goes in like so. Comes with this foam gasket. This one's kind of soft and flimsy. The original ones that are on here are actually a lot better, so I'm just going to reuse the original one. Plus it's stuck on there pretty good. It's more of like the original is more of like a rubber than a foam. This is gonna be hard. Try not to drop it, because if I drop it, it's gone. Whew, got lucky. One done. So I'll take and stick this grommet back on that they. Oh, I gotta cut a hole out, I guess, because I just put a slice in there, but this one's a little thicker. It's not like the wires sticking through where they can kind of form a line. So they give you, I think, 9 feet of cable. It's not enough to really get me where I need to be. It's wired in up under the seat where the original strobe box was. So rather than run all the wire and then splice it like under the cab or in there, I'm just going to splice it up here where I can get to it. And I'm going to use the shrink tube or heat shrink butt connectors to connect it. Yeah, so we'll do that, or no. Yeah, we'll do that. So I'll just pull this wire back up in here with the rest of this, and I'll connect it back here. Where it was. So I'll slide this headlight back between that bolt into the fender. You don't have to take it out, you just loosen it and it slides out. We'll put these 2 bolts back up here to hold the headlight back in. Tuck your fender liner back in down there. That's done. Alright, so while you're wiring this, I guess I can go back and review a little bit. The mounting dimensions are 3/32 holes, 1.25 inches apart. The mounting holes with a 1-inch diameter hole cut out for the LED light. The red wire is a power wire. The black wire is the ground. The green wire is the sync. So you attach all the strobes together so they can synchronize. And the white wire is a scan lock. The red wire requires a 3-amp fuse, and the white wire requires a 1-amp fuse. The scan lock is to change the patterns. I guess there's a bunch of different patterns that come with this. So I noticed they usually give you a lot of extra hole in the butt connector. So I like to, depending on how much extra hole I have, I normally take and I'll strip extra wire and I'll fold it over, and I'll kind of crush it down real tight. So basically I get more wire in there, so it doesn't have to be a teeny little wire in a hole that's twice the size of it. And this one's a little bit tighter than the rest, but so I kind of spin it until it slides on. So now that's slid on. Now I've got 2 wires inside there, and it'll just it provides a little bit of a better hold. And then just crimp it. It should be good. Give it a little tug, and we're good. So I'm not hooking up the white wire because just using the flash pattern that comes standard with it. So I'll just kind of tuck that out of the way. The wiring that came on this, you get like a strobe wiring kit that was installed, and it's got blue, red, and black. So I'm just going same color, so I'm just hooking the green to the blue to kind of simplify everything. And this is already run into the cab, is kind of why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. If I had to run it, I would obviously run it into the cab, but because it's already here, I'm just going with what I got. Be a lot easier than trying to get it into there. And then it's under the carpet, and then it goes back under the seat. Well, there's that. So we'll move along, and I'll get the other side done. I'll heat shrink all these and tape it up, tuck it up out of the way, and so it doesn't get damaged. And then I'll come back and I'll show you what they look like after I got them all wired. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make I guess a douched connector, or how to pin one up, I guess, or I don't know, how to install one. We'll go with that. So I'm only using 3 of these wires, not 4, because the 4th one I do not need. So I'm using the red, the black, and the green. And you need some specialty type of tooling and stuff for this. So here is the wiring. Let's get that out of the way. Well, I guess I could have put this on first. It probably would have made it a little easier. So let's see. I gotta see what I need for my plug. So there's my plug. I need red over here in the upper right corner. I need black next to it. And I need the green underneath. Right? Let me see. Just make sure red, yep. Black, and green. So that'll plug in. Plug in like this. And like this. Alright, so I'll slide the seal down. And then we'll oh, I guess I don't have to pin that just yet. It's my first time doing this, so I thought the pins had to come through and you had to put this on first and crimp it and then pull this down, but looks like you just push it through from the back, which is kind of what I thought it was, but I'm trying to get it apart. I'm doing it from the reverse. So you slide these little terminals in. Get the screen back. These little terminals, they go in one way, wire goes in there. So you slide them in this little tool, which is labeled insert terminal, then wire from this side. And then you stick the wire in and crimp it. And that's that. So I don't know if you can see in there, but there's little 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 teeth that kind of come out and squeeze the little tube. Get another one in. Stick a wire. Stick a wire in. And grab it. Not bad for my first time, huh? Wire in. Grab it. All right. So we got red. Well, yeah. Yep. So it just plugs in the back. Black over here. And green under here. Slide the seal up in there. It's a very tight seal. I think that's, I mean, it'll work, but I'm reusing one. So, and then slip that in here. And I guess we're done. It's pretty pretty neat connector. Well, that's how you do them. The other side is probably pretty much the same. It's just a different type of plug. That's all. So that little green piece comes out, and then they go out the back. So it's pretty much the same thing. It's just they're all inside, and they don't, instead of like this one where the clip is on the outside. So you put the grill back on. You're just going to line up the tabs at the bottom, pop it on. Only 3 of the 4 screws are here because this is kind of deformed and bent. Put all your push rivets in. Alright, here it is finished. So these are the strobes that are in the lights. So they get pretty bright. It was initially wired into the fuse box here, and I had to trace down the wiring to make sure that it was correct. Here's the switch that's up here. I figured that fuse that was there was for this one, so I had shut it off and unplugged the fuse and turned it back on, and I lost the power. So that's how I determined that that was the correct switch, or the correct fuse for it. Here's the wiring down here. this is where the strobe box initially sat. So here the wiring that came into it, and they all had their own plugs specific to the strobe box. So there were 3 powers, so it had different patterns. With the strobe boxes, you energize different circuits to cause them to do different things with different circuits, and it changes the flash pattern. So we got a ground, we've got 2 powers that came from that switch. This was a constant power that I'm leaving disconnected that actually powered the strobe box. So I got lucky, I had 2 connections, and then I was able to separate it from front to rear. And these right here, the blue wires are the ones that were the synchronizing wiring. So that's how they synchronize with each other. And then we come back here and we see we got some in the tailgate. Well, not the taillight, the taillights. I put these in yesterday. These were a little bit easier. You just take the taillight out, and then the same scenario, you drill into the side. Then you want to put them on the horizontal line. And that's how you change out your strobes to the LEDs. Well, hope this helped. I don't know how well the video is going to come out in the end. It's not really a great subject or instructional video, but I figured it might entertain somebody. Anyway.